Well, hey there, Grand Design family. Jim Jacobus here. Hope this finds you well. It is Monday morning after the rally. Rain is come and gone here at Old River Road, and looks like it should be a decent day out there. It's going to be a little cloudy and windy, but for those of you that were traveling home yesterday and all the wind, hope you got home safe and everything went well. Per our conversation when we presented the RV trip planning webinar workshop at the rally, we like to do a follow-up piece. That's what this is. Voiceover of all of our slides will not be in as much in depth as the particular original presentation, but it has all of the information there. If you have any questions or you need anything, let us know. I'll be glad to do anything we can to help you. We will post this on all of the different social media sites and of course on our blog, so you can find it there. Before I go too far though, I did want to say congratulations, Melissa and the leadership team, for the rally. This one was I think the best state rally we've been to, and certainly rivaled the quality of the national rally. We had a great time. Melissa, I know you kept apologizing for the slip ups, but from an attendee standpoint, I didn't notice them. So they may have been behind the scenes or things that nobody else knows about. I don't think it certainly didn't affect our experience, and I'm pretty sure it didn't affect anybody else's as well. But again, congratulations for a job well done, and for all the volunteers. Thank you, because these things do not happen without great volunteers. And we had the chance to meet so many neat people, and we hope to see you again. So without getting too misty-eyed here about what a great rally it was, because we had a great time, let's go through these slides. Like I said, this is not going to be as in-depth as the presentation was, because you don't want me to do another hour, but I will go through some of the main stuff and explain a few things to you in depth. But first thing, we always put this warning up there. This is how we plan our trips. There's no one way to do this. If anybody ever tells you there's only one way, like we said, run far, run fast, run now. These are the tools that we use. This is our way of doing it. A lot of things that you'll see in our presentation, we learn from other people. So if you have a better way or a different idea, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. We would be glad to try some new things. We're always a work in progress when it comes to our trip planning. So don't hesitate to let us know if you have some ideas that we can learn from. So take whatever you like, chunk the rest of it. You're not going to bother us. You won't hurt our feelings in any way. Trust me. So our story, and again, I'm not going to belabor it, but we went full time in June of 2020 after only owning an RV for a little over a year. But in that year, we really had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, we've been full time now for 2.5 years, almost, I guess right at, June. So almost 2.5 years. But anyway, we love it. We always tell people full-time RV living is not for everybody, but it suits us well. And this is Marley. A lot of you got to meet Marty this weekend. That's a great dog, travels well. We always say he's the perfect yellow lab if he didn't shed so much. But Marty's hair, it seems like there ought to be 4 dogs in here as much hair as we vacuum up on a regular basis. So mindset when it comes to RV trip planning, I think is critical. And one of the things we feel like is really important is we can always find a place to stay. That's kind of our mantra, if you will. Whether we're sitting still, obviously we don't have to look around them, but if we're on the road, we feel like we can always find a place to stay. I'm in the middle of planning our trip for 2023. And again, it's not that difficult. Part of the deal is, though, one of the reasons we can always find a place to stay is because we're very, very flexible. We only have 4 requirements for a place to stay. 1 is it's safe. 2 is it fits our rig. 3 is they accept dogs because of Marty. And 4, typically we need a good internet connection because Christy and I both still work. And she works a lot via her online platform. So we've got to have good internet, or we have to have a good cell signal. And I'll talk a little bit about connectivity here in a minute. But we need to have all of that in order to be successful. But other than that, we'll stay anywhere. And we're going to show you some of the different places we regularly stay. But here's what I think is important. If you only enjoy camping in an environment like a state park or a Corps of Engineer where you're out, campfires and everything, God bless you. All right. I'm not here to define what anybody else should believe camping looks like. But I would say that if that's where you want to stay, it is getting more and more difficult. If you're more open to staying at Harvest Host or Boondockers Welcome, or in a parking lot, RV resort or something like that, then you'll expand your opportunities for places to stay and expand your travel opportunities. That said, though, again, I'm not here to tell anybody what camping ought to look like. Okay. But the more narrow our definition of camping is, the more difficult it will be for places to stay. One of the other mindsets that we talk about a lot is that we have learned to laugh at, learn from, and move on from mistakes. We're going to make a lot of mistakes. We don't make as many as we used to, but we still make some. And we learn from the Keep Your Daydream YouTube channel. If you're not following those guys, I highly recommend it. Great YouTube channel. But the very first one we watched, they said, Trisha Mark said, you're going to make mistakes, so learn to laugh at them, all right, and move on. And they did a good job of that. And we kind of picked that up right from the start. We weren't necessarily like that in the past, but we picked that up right from the very beginning, and it has served us well because we make mistakes. Part of the deal. All right. So we always make the best of whatever we have to deal with. You know, if we wind up in a place that's not exactly beautiful or fantastic, you know, at the end of the day, still we have each other and we're still out on the road having fun. So like it says here on the slide, we are in this together. We are Team Jacobus, and whatever happens to one of us happens to the team. And I know it sounds kind of goofy or cliche, but that's what helps make it work for us. All right. So our plan, basically, Christy shared it with you in our presentation. We spend about a third of our time down in South Texas, where her mom and dad live, taking care of them. We stay in Aransas Pass at Southern Oaks. If you're ever going down there, it's lovely, lovely RV resort with tons and tons of amenities and activities. We love it down there in South Texas. And then North Texas, we stay in Alvarado at another RV parking lot, if you will, RV resort. Both of those, by the way, have hardwired internet at well over 200 megabytes per second. And that's one of the reasons why we like those two parks, as well as their amenities. But we stay in North Texas because that's where our grandkids and kids live. And we could spend time with them as well. And then we spend about a third of our time on the road traveling around the country. Again, some of these trips are very long, 3 months at a time. Some of them, like the one we're on right now, is about a month at a time, heading out to Big Bend and then to the rally. And then now we're going to Canyon Lake here for a few days and then back home on the 30th. So that's kind of our overarching plan for travel. But when we plan our third of the time on the road, we look at bucket lists and we create bucket lists, if you will. Christy has her list of places that she wants to go and things she wants to see. I have my list of places I want to go and things I want to see. They tend to be different at times. Other times we're both tracking right along the same route, if you will. And out of that, though, we create our bucket list, and we're both really, really in tune with, quote, Team Jacobus, and that it's what, you know, what's best for us, not what's best for Jim or for Christy. And, you know, that's part of our marriage deal, part of the things we teach in our marriage workshops and everything is how important it is that we support each other. So if she wants to go somewhere, I'll go do it. And if I want to go somewhere, she's quick to go do it. And that's what we do. So we have her list, my list, and our list. And as time goes on, we check those off and we do it regularly. So we would really encourage you to do your bucket list. Matter of fact, you know what? I didn't even say I'm going to do this, but I will on this blog post. If you're wherever you pick this up on a blog post, down below, there'll be a link to we have a bucket list PDF that you can download, and you're welcome to take that and use that to create your own bucket list. It's kind of a neat tool that we created for our marriage stuff. All right. So again, what's on your bucket list? Where do you guys want to go? What do you want to do? Don't hesitate to comment below what's on your bucket list. So our tools that we use include, now this is not all of them, but this is what we use. Our Reserve America for all the state parks. And as I said in the presentation, Reserve America is used by a number of states around the country. So if you're have a Reserve America because you stay at parks in Texas, then you'll be very familiar with how to book a park in Ohio or Tennessee or other places like that. Now, not all states use it, but a lot of them do. It look very familiar to you. Recreation.gov for our national parks. And as we said, we love Corps of Engineer parks. They tend to be very, very well kept. They're always on lakes because they're Corps of Engineer parks. And we like them because we have the national pass, because I'm an OFART. Our price for staying at a Corps of Engineer park is half of the regular price. So we love the Corps of Engineer parks, beautiful places. And like I said, they tend to be a little, I'm gonna say they're differently kept than a state park. We were park host at Brazos Bend, and the state parks like to leave more of a natural look to the park, to the campground, whereas the Corps of Engineer parks tend to manicure the campgrounds a little bit more. So depending upon what you like, I tend to like the well manicured parks a little bit better. We do use KOA, again, typically for one night stops because they're consistent. I know what I'm getting when I book one there, and we've enjoyed the KOA stays that we've had. Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome, we've used in the past. We're going to be using it a lot more on this trip that you see on my monitor here. We're counting on them for a number of different stays, and we love the boondocking at one of these two tools. Now they're both together on the same website under one pricing structure. We feel like it's a heck of a deal, and you get to say some really, really cool places around the country. We do not use RV Trip Wizard for navigation. I use it for trip planning alone. And somebody did ask the question, I do not plan the trips on my iPhone or on our iPad. I always plan the trips on our desktop. Much bigger screen for these older eyes, as well as there are some things that are much easier to access in their tool section on a large screen. So, but for travel, literally point to point, if I were to start off in Dallas, Texas, and go to, looks like Amarillo there, probably Big Tex RV Park in Amarillo, where we're going to stay over 2 nights, so I can go and try to eat one of the 72-ounce steaks, if you will. When I travel from Dallas to Amarillo, I use the Garmin 785 RV GPS tool. All right, so it's on my dash. It also has a dash cam. It's one of the reasons why I chose this particular model. And I was talking with the Garmin guys the other day, trying to figure out what to do about retrieving some video that was on our dash cam. They told me that this particular deal, 785 RV, is the exact same GPS that the truckers use. It's just named RV for people like us, but it's the same tool. So truckers use this thing. It keeps them safe. I'm going to use it too. And by the way, I found it to be very, very dependable. And I've not ever been on a road that I was going like, okay, why am I here? Why am I in the wrong place? Now, I know others use RV Trip Wizard for their trip planning and do it well. I love it. So God bless them. I'm glad they do. That's just not our method. And by the way, I put parentheses here. We do have a TST 507 TPMS system for our tire monitoring. I highly recommend that. I hope you never have a blowout, but if you do, the system will alert you early that you have a problem. Either you have a tire going down, you have got tires getting hot. It'll alert you so that you can pull over and not have as much damage to your rig, hopefully, as if you rolling down the road, you have a blowout and you don't even know it back there for a while until somebody honks at you and pulls you over, and now that blown tire's done tons and tons of damage to your rig. So I think it's a good investment. Recently went about I went about 1,000 miles without it because all the batteries had run down on the sensors and I had not replaced them. And I felt like I was driving, it made me nervous not having the TPMS. One of the great sources for planning these trips is crowdsourcing on Facebook. We recently posted on the Grand Design Owners Deal, we're going to Oregon. What would you recommend we see and where would you recommend we stay? I think we had like 70 something comments on there. And it really helped us in determining where we wanted to stay while we were in Oregon. And we do that a lot with different places. What do you go see when you're in Yosemite? What do you do when you're in the Badlands? Again, Facebook is a great resource for that. And by the way, I encourage you to jump in there and answer other people's questions when they ask about a place you've been or something that you've seen. Also YouTube, we do tons and tons of research on YouTube, video watching. I've had a couple of minor problems with our rig that I got answers on YouTube so fast and great detailed answers for how to fix things. I would highly recommend you follow Chad and Tara on Changing Lanes. Chad does the best job of detailed maintenance video work that I think is on the internet. They have a 397, we have a 399. So they're very similar rigs, and that helps us a lot, but I think it would help you. I don't care what rig you have. There are things like air conditioning maintenance, hot water heater maintenance, just all kinds of things on there that he does a great job of. So I would encourage you to check those out. And then, like I said, RV Trip Wizard is the backbone of all of our planning. I know there are other tools out there. I've seen them. We've just been using this tool for a couple of years now. We love it, and it does a great job for us. So if you want to use it, I encourage you. If you've got a better tool or one that you're more comfortable with, then use that as well. So let me just go through the RV Trip Wizard setup. I'm not want to spend a lot of time on this, but I do want to show you how many different tools they have and why I think this makes this such a valuable tool. So the first thing you're going to do is you set your RV up, and here I've set up my height at 13 feet 8. We're only 13.6, but I like that extra margin of error there going under a bridge, so I don't have to have a heart attack while I'm going under a bridge that says 13.7 or 13.6. Length is 66 feet, weight's 24.9. Fuel capacity, we're actually 50 gallons, but I put 49 in there with 1 gallon of reserve. And our miles per gallon is dead on 9.0 over now probably, I'm going to say 85, 90,000 miles of travel. You get to put in your routing preferences. If you don't like to go through toll booths or anything like that, then you can click to avoid tolls. I can't imagine we would avoid highways considering how far we're going. I know that a lot of people, I was responding to one of the Facebook group deals about going over the ferry from Aransas Pass to Port Aransas, and how nervous somebody was about that. We've done that several times. I could kind of like it. But if you're not comfortable putting your rig on a ferry and there's another route, then certainly go do that. But I don't click off the avoid ferries. I don't click off avoid tunnels. They don't make me nervous as well. So. And then you have a distance routing preference. This is the classic driving radius, which, I understand why they use this, but we don't use that. We use the advanced driving radius. Looks like this. If you look back and forth, you see this is perfectly round, right? And this takes into consideration the road itself. All right. And it's a little different look there. And like I said, we did the trip from LaGrange to Fort Stockton last week, 420 miles. And then we did the Fort Stockton down to Lajitas in Big Bend. And the 420 miles was an easier trip than the 160 miles was from Fort Stockton down to Lajitas because of the hills and the turns and all of that. So this takes into consideration the driving conditions, if you will, as far as the road is concerned. All right, so we use the advanced driving radius. That green ring is 100 miles, the gold ring is 200 miles, and the red ring is 300 miles. We use the 300-330 rule, 300 miles in a day, or ended our trip by 3:30 in the afternoon. We like to be done by 3:30, parked, undone, and have plenty of chance to rest and relax before we can travel the next day. All right, so those are the distances we use, and that's what those rings mean. And then we put in some estimated expenses here, and they're fairly accurate for us, $50 a day for camping. We actually do a lot less than that from looking at our budgets and everything. $10 a day for meals. That includes, grocery store meals versus eating out. Miscellaneous expenses, $15 a day, and average cost per gallon of gas at $5. We're kind of around that, if you will, sometimes less and sometimes more. And then you can put in all your memberships. This has tons and tons and tons of memberships that you can plug in here, kinds of places to stay and preferences. You can see we've clicked over several of these that we like, and you'll see those on the map pop up here in a little bit. And so once you do that, then you're going to set up your filters. You set that up for your first trip, and those filters will carry over to future trips. And you can see there's tons of different kinds of filters here. You have park types, park ratings, park features, hookups and connectivity, amenities, pricing, recreation in the area, brands, clubs, memberships, and they all look like this. Park types. We click off pretty much everything here. We don't get to do military fam camp, which I've heard is fantastic. Canadian national parks or Canadian provincial preserves, not been up there yet. So we haven't checked those off, but you got park types. Any kind of features that are important. I don't necessarily plug in pull through sites. I prefer them. They're obviously much easier than back in, but we back in. Our parking is a piece of cake. We have a really good system for that, and maybe I ought to do a video on that one day. So anyway, full hookups, electric 30, 20, 15, we're fine with that. And electric 50 amp, we're fine with that. I don't click Wi-Fi because it's going to be misleading, if you will. I'll look at a different source for that. Cable satellite hookup doesn't matter. Water, that's nice. Sewer, not necessary. So those are our connectivity needs. Amenities, I didn't click any of these. I put COVID open at the time because a lot of parks when I did this first time were not open yet. But none of these are critical for us, so we don't click any of them. Prices, important. I put down 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the dollar signs. I have found the cheaper $1 sign parks at times to be as nice as a 4-star, and I've found 4 stars that aren't as nice as a 1-star. So I click them all. And again, be flexible, keep all of our options open. Recreation, rec room. I'm not sure why I clicked that, but I did. So filters, favorites. Here's all the clubs that we use: Good Sam, Thousand Trails, AAA, KOA, Passport America. If there isn't a discount, might as well take advantage of it. And we do all those. I am going to add the Elks Club membership to our travels because there's a lot of opportunity with Elks Clubs for places to stay, especially just the overnight stuff. And points of interest, there are tons of these that you can click on and add them to the list. So planning a short trip, pretty easy to do. Basically, you're just going to start with point A and your departure date. That's what you're going to put into the system. And here you'll see we're sitting at Kerrville at Old River Road. That's where that starting point is right there. You're going to add your point B and arrival date. I'm going to show you 2 options for point B and the date you want to arrive. And then once you do that, in your arrival area, you can look for places to stay. And I'm going to show you 2 different methods for that. Do your research and then book your stay. Okay, and we're going to walk through that here real quick. So you can go to a specific campground, and I use Kentucky Horse Park campground in Lexington, and because we've done a bunch of research, and I'm going to show you how we do it. That's what you would do if you're going to go to a very specific campground. Or you can pick point B as an area. All right, let's say we're going to go to Kerrville to Austin. All right, not very far there, but look at all the options in the Austin area. All right, and this is what I'm saying about being flexible. And see these ones that are highlighted. You have the KOA, you have others up there, Good Sam. Those are my preferences, all right? But all these other green ones are the other options of places to stay. And here in particular, by the way, up on a lake, golly, I can't remember what the name of that lake is, right up near George, maybe it's Lake Georgetown. There are 3 parks there, but one side of the lake is Copper Breaks, and on the other, or Cedar Breaks, and on the other side of the lake is Jim Hogg. 2 beautiful Corps of Engineer parks, and we love both of those. So there's, again, you see all the different places to stay, and all my preferences are popping up in colored circles you see there. All right, do your research. So here's Kentucky Horse Park. All right, and I pull that up, looking for it. I put it in the search deals at the top, and it takes me right to it. And then I'm going to click on park details there, and it's going to take me to this page. All right, and so to all of these things you see on this page: overview, features, reviews, tips, and Q&A is really a cool tool there. It'll tell you places to go see, places to eat, things about the campground you might want to know. There's a lot of tips there and answers to questions. Down the left-hand side, you see their phone number if you want to call them, a website. I always click on that, see if I can book online. But then I'm going to look at those campground reviews, and I'm going to look at the satellite map, and I'm going to do some of my research there, and I'll show you that in just a second. But if you add it to your trip, you're just going to click on Add a Trip over here on the right-hand side, and it tells you, gives you the opportunity to say how long you're going to stay, and add it to your trip before, after a certain stop. All right. So here's a couple of features. Satellite map. This is really cool. One of the reasons I like this tool. Here's a satellite view of Kentucky Horse Park Campground. All right. What a neat layout this is, by the way. Very, very ingenious, I thought, when I was looking at it. And their center's right in the middle with their pool and everything. But if you want to zoom in even further, this is campsite 141. And you see it actually comes off of a leg there. It's the only pull-through campsite in the entire park. And I liked it. We laughed about people use this because there's some amenities down here in the bottom left-hand corner. People just walk right through our campsite. All right. Wouldn't think anything about it. Didn't bother me. I know it bothers other people. And if it bothers you, I get that. No big deal, but it didn't bother me. So I love this feature. You can take a look at, an overview of the site itself if you want to. And it's like I said, I think it's pretty cool. Campground reviews. All right. So when you click on that, it's going to take you here. Look at all this information. All right. Overview, photos, 56 photos, by the way. I click through and look at all of those to get a good idea of what that park looks like. And I enjoy going through the photos. And sometimes you'll see stuff going. It just makes you can't wait to go. All right. This thing has 290 reviews, 71 tips, 1 question and answer. So tons and tons of info here. All right. So I'm going to click on the reviews, and it's going to go down, and this is the page that shows up. Now, first thing I look at is right here. All right. I look at the Wi-Fi. They have Wi-Fi again. I don't trust that. They have AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. And again, let me talk about connectivity real quick. For us, it's a must-have because we both still work. Christy's doing online platform counseling sessions all day long, and we've got to have connectivity. You cannot trust campground Wi-Fi for tons of reasons why. All right, so we have 3 systems that we use. We use AT&T through our iPad, which comes with a data plan that is unlimited. So paying for the iPad over the years, it's already paid for and everything. We still have that data plan, and that data plan is unlimited data. All right, that iPad never going to die, I hope. That's one of our tools that we tether to. We also have the latest T-Mobile Wi-Fi. It's called T-Mobile Home Internet. Comes with what they call the tower. And that particular tool is $50 a month, and it is unlimited. No throttling down at any particular data level or anything. It has been a neat tool to have. We did have 3 different T-Mobile tools, hotspots, and each one of those was $50 for 50 or $60 for 100 gigs a month. Well, we blow through that in no time. So now we have an unlimited T-Mobile, and then we also have a Verizon wireless hotspot that's $50 for 100 gigs a month. And it's kind of like our last line of defense, if you will. We have all of these, and we have to. It's part of our deal, okay? Because we work, and it provides connectivity for our Apple TV streaming tool, where we can get Astros baseball games and stuff. So these things are important tools for us. But that's a little bit about connectivity. People always ask, how do I get to the internet? Well, there is no one way. You better have some redundant systems, because we go some places where AT&T is smoking hot fast, and T-Mobile or Verizon is non-existent. And we go other places where T-Mobile is smoking hot fast and AT&T has no signal. And so for us, we have to have that. And that's how you make sure you can get online if you have to. So do your research. Here's a negative review for the Horse Park Campground. And again, came out, value is 4 stars, service was 2 stars, cleanliness 3 stars. And if you read this, it just sounded to me like they had a problem with the staff's attitude. All right. And so they got a negative review. And there was only a handful of those, if you will. If you go back to, let's see here. Yeah, look here. Rating spread: 130 excellent, 119 good, 31 average, and only 10 total that were poor, terrible. So 10 out of 290 reviews were poor or terrible. And so that's what I'm looking for. Now, here's somebody who stayed there a number of times. They've done 148 reviews in their life. So I trust this one more than I trust this one. Okay. And there were a number of reviews like this: 5 stars, 4 stars. Okay. So this is what I'm looking for when it comes to reviews. And I'll read a lot of them. And if there's negative reviews, I look and see if there's a pattern of negative reviews and if that pattern would affect me. All right. If that pattern would affect me. And if the pattern doesn't affect me, but everything else sounds good, then I wouldn't mind staying there. But I do read these reviews and they're very helpful. So planning a long trip is really pretty simple. All right. Again, this is our trip coming up in 2023. We leave Dallas in June. We make our way all the way over to the West Coast, all the way up to Oregon and Washington, back across, hitting a couple of places that we want to go that we've not stayed, including Rocky Mountain National Park, the Badlands, up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and then down to the rally, to the National Rally. All right. And then from there, we actually go to Tennessee, where Christy has a conference to attend. Timing happens to be good. And then back to Texas. So that's our trip for next year. It's the same as planning a short trip. There's just a bunch of short trips, one right after the other. Same methodology, same way. And as Christy shared, she's ridden the MS 150 9 times, I believe it is, 150 miles from Houston to Austin at the time, and no longer goes to Austin, now goes to College Station, I believe. And she always told people, look, can you ride 13 or 14 miles? Yeah. Well, it's just a series of 13 or 14 mile rides, one right after the other. And all of those stops are rest stops where you can take it easy. Then you get ready, go do another 13 or 14 miles. Same thing here. All right. So crowdsource the best routes, places to stay, things to see, plan your stops, how long you're going to stay. We use the 330 rule. Research all the options. I mean, this is a pretty lengthy process, if you will. And we're right at the point where we're starting to book some of the cornerstone places we're going to stay. Things that we absolutely are committed to seeing and doing, like some of the national parks. And then we'll start booking the stuff in between. But what's really fun about all of this is we're already enjoying this trip. All right. We're enjoying the anticipation of these things. We're watching YouTube videos on the Oregon coast. We're watching YouTube videos about Yosemite and things like that. So we're already enjoying this trip just from the anticipation part of it all. And if you're going to do a trip in the spring and you want to go to, let's say you want to go to Port Aransas for the spring and you want to stay at Gulf Waters down there, gorgeous park, by the way. Start planning it now. All right. Start looking at it now, looking at how long are you going to be there? What are you going to do while you're there? Maybe you're going to go for the Sandcastle Fest or something like that. Start watching videos about it. Or, I mean, that's what's so much fun about this is the anticipation in advance. So, again, easy, simple, not necessarily easy to plan a long trip. And if you have any questions, let me know. Holler at me. I'll sit down and go over this on a Zoom call with you and show you how we would do it if we were going to take you wherever it is you want to go. All right. So this is what a full dashboard looks like. And over here on the left-hand side, you see all of our stops. That only got us to Yosemite in looks like June 16th. All right. Okay. So there's a lot of travel in there. We leave there on the 1st, and we've only got 16 days. That dashboard on the left-hand side goes way, way down, a lot further than that. Real quick tip here, you'll see at the bottom of our dashboard, it says we have 5 nights available. We leave open days, so we have some flexibility on our trip. Sometimes we'll stay a day later, leave a day early. If the parks allow, we can get the reservation. Sometimes we can't, no big deal. All right. But 3 things we've learned, really, really important things. One is this is an amazing country we live in. I don't care where you go. I don't care what you want to see. I don't care what you enjoy seeing. This is an incredible country. And again, I'm not here to tell everybody you ought to get outside your zip code. You ought to get outside the state of Texas. You need to go do what you want to do. But I'm going to tell you what, you get out and about this country, it is an amazing place, and it is full of amazing people. Those of you who came to this rally for the very first time, I know one thing you left with was this is a really cool group of people. I mean, this is a neat group of folks by the nature of the fact that we camp. We have a handful of, people that aren't so cool, but they're a very small number. It's a great country with great places to stay, great things to see, and great people to meet. And at the end of the day, I will tell you this, one of the things we have learned now is that there's never, ever, ever going to be enough time, and we wish we'd started earlier. And so we're making the most out of the time we have. We don't know how long that is. We hope it's a long time. Hope we're physically able to do this forever. We know we're not, but I don't care how long there is. There's never going to be enough time to do this, and we're never going to have enough time for each other. So hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, here's how you can get a hold of us. joyhauling.com is our blog. Again, I'd love to have you go there, check out all the other blog posts that we've done. I'll put this up on the joyhauling.com blog page. You'll be able to link to it. You'll be able to link to and download the PowerPoint slides. I'm going to include those. You're welcome to have them. I'm also going to include that bucket list tool that we've created. You're welcome to use that. And certainly reach out to us if you want to. We do have a Facebook page, Joy Hauling with Team Jacobus. You can go join that and follow us there if you want to. You're welcome to reach out and friend us personally. We'd love to have you be friends of ours on Facebook. And the follow-up to this, I'm going to post this on the Grand Design Rally page. I'm going to post it on our Joy Hauling page, and we'll put it in a lot of other places. So if you have any questions, we can help you at all, just reach out to us, message us, anything we can do. We'd be glad to do that. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you at the next rally. Take care, gang.